All right, everyone. Here we go. We're going to start the practice exam here.
Yep.
If anybody needs me to read the questions out loud for the sake of just how Kahoot works, I can do that. Just let me know. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and get started.
Hey, what's up, you guys?
Hey, Gladys. Just starting the exam.
Hey. Oh, are you all ready? Tywin, are you ready?
Really up to you.
I have a first week exams this week, so that's great. Just
We'll
jumped in
see
to
if
say
we're
hi.
ready.
Join. Say that again.
Ready. This will help let us know.
Yeah.
Good little
Awesome.
benchmark. Move on to the podium. Great job, guys. Legacy servers isolated on a private network. What type of control is this? Corrective, deterrent, compensating, or preventive? I feel like I should have kept the music on. Build some suspense. Yes, go Sally and Gary. It's a lot. This helps test improvements in response without impacting production systems, recovery, tabletop, failover, or replication. Guys. Ricky and Daniel are catching up. How can vendors protect sensitive data if a laptop is stolen? Full disk encryption, strong passwords, intrusion detection system, or antivirus? What's the best way to automate repeatable cloud deployments? Infrastructure as a code, software as a service, software-defined networking, or Internet of Things? Tough one. Great job, guys. Gary's catching up to you, Sally. Why is conducting an audit especially important in a banking environment? Fulfill self-assessment policies to meet regulatory guidelines to comply with service level agreements due to organizational changes. Excellent, guys. What's the first step when setting up a DLP to protect sensitive data? Classify the data based on sensitivity, block access to cloud storage websites, remove all user permissions from file shares, or create rules to block outgoing email attachments. Thank you, Gladys. Thanks for stopping in. Awesome job, guys. Which data policy ensures customer data is kept for the required time? Analysis, retention, transfer, or compromise? Excellent, guys. This will be about as much time as you get per question on the exam itself, although that changes a little bit because of the PBQs and stuff. Which document estimates hours for a hired penetration test? Service level agreement, business partner agreement, non-disclosure agreement, or statement of work? Guys, I personally find these ones that hurt us with all the different acronyms there. What type of threat actor uses ransomware as a service? Insider threat, hacktivist, organized crime, or nation state? Oh, we already got an answer. It's quick. Ooh, Rocky's taking the lead. Danielle's catching up. How can a company prevent insiders from adding malicious code? Using open source components, peer review and approval, standard quality assurance testing, or automated code scanning for vulnerabilities? Good job, guys. Killing it so far. Client files are only accessible to employees with proper roles. What security principle is this? Integrity, confidentiality, non-repudiation, or availability?
No, unfortunately.
All right, good. Which control is most effective at preventing an employee from accidentally installing malware in a company device? Application allow list, host-based firewall, least privilege, or system isolation? Guys. That malware is a software, so application allow list. Which vulnerability is blocked by forbidding OS changes on mobile devices? Jailbreaking, cross-site scripting, sideloading, or buffer overflow? Sideloading and jailbreaking can be easy to get mixed up, that's for sure. How can a company isolate customer data from the main network? Patching, encryption, network segmentation, or isolation? You guys doing great though. For an air-gapped network, which method is the most common method for sensitive information? That sensitive information will be lost or exfiltrated. Unsecured Bluetooth, mobile devices, bastion hosts, or unpatched operating systems. Great job, guys. Just remember, we have a lot of policies against removable devices for that reason. Which of the following demonstrates an effective change management procedure? Using a spreadsheet to track changes, having a backup plan if a patch fails, automatically bypassing change control for security updates, or approving the change after deployment. Awesome, guys. See those numbers. You guys are killing it. Which of the following is a feature commonly found in next generation scene systems? Automated response actions, virus signatures, vulnerability scanning, or security agent deployment. Awesome. Tough. We haven't learned too much about that yet. Malware hit the network after an employee visited a trusted website. What type of attack is this? Impersonation, disinformation, watering hole, or smishing? Good one, guys. It'll be a good one to know. Watering hole is poisoning it so people who visit get infected. A company wants to reduce VPN traffic, keep encrypted access, and monitor usage. What solution fits? Deploy a secure access service edge solution for remote workers. Build a load balanced VPN with redundant internet connections. Additional VPN concentrators via cloud provider. Or purchase low cost SD-WAN appliance for VPN traffic. Awesome, guys. Oh, Danielle takes the lead. How can a company avoid using counterfeit network hardware? Include a right to audit clause in vendor contracts and SOWs. Enforce a legally binding corporate acquisition policy. Perform penetration tests on all suppliers and vendors. Or conduct a thorough analysis of the supply chain. Good one, guys. That's a tough one. They're all good options. After a ransomware attack, an admin reviews the system logs to determine what happened, which type of control is being used. Compensating, preventative, detective, corrective. Nice, guys. He's investigating as detective. The company must conduct a risk assessment every year. What type of risk assessment does this describe? Ad hoc, continuous, one time, or recurring? Excellent, guys. Keep it up. You guys are all staying pretty close to each other. Why should permissions on your human resource files share? Follow the principle of least privileges. To protect confidentiality of sensitive data, to ensure data integrity, to support non-repudiation, or to maintain the availability of files. Awesome, guys. Don't let that get sensitive information getting seen. How can a company quickly mitigate a network access vulnerability in legacy IoT devices? Patching, replacement, segmentation, or insurance? Excuse me 1 sec. Let me answer this. Sorry, even split, guys. It's a tough one. Knowing how to handle legacy devices is important. Which threat actor is usually hired by a foreign government to attack another country's infrastructure? Activists, whistleblowers, script kiddie, organized crime. Big jobs are organized crime, if not nation state. All users can access confidential files. What control quickly restricts access? Group policy, content filtering, access control list, data loss prevention. Most guys, access control lists are going to be your friends here. Which document defines a provider's required uptime for hosted services? Statement of work, memorandum of understanding, memorandum of agreement, or service level agreement? Great job, guys. GRC stuff is the one I struggle the most with. It's doing great. How can a company confirm an external vendor properly dispose of a classified storage array? Service level agreement, certificate of destruction, audit log, or vendor NDA? Excellent, guys. NDA is about leaking information. What's the safest way for a consultant to remotely access a client's network? EAP, DHCP, IPsec, or NAT? Good job, guys. It's hard when they're all just acronyms, but that's what it'll be like on the exam. Well, Rocky's catching up to Danielle. How can an analyst find when a malicious file was created and by whom? Generate the file's SHA-256 hash, check endpoint logs, examine the file with a hex dump, or query the file's metadata. If you've done the 21-day challenge, you'll have experience with this one. Okay. Great job, guys. Yeah, you'll use a tool like exiftool to check the metadata. It's really simple to do. For organizations with critical systems in earthquake-prone areas, what strategy best minimizes downtime and data loss? Offsite replication, generator and UPS, high availability networking, or redundant cold sites. Excellent. Keyword was the minimizing downtime. The cold sites take time to get back up and running. Which type of team uses both offensive and defensive methods to help secure an organization's critical systems? Red, blue, purple, orange. Great job, guys. Just remember purple. It's just a mix of blue and red. It isn't easy. What security risk comes from kiosks running end-of-life OS? Cost to replace the kiosk, lack of available patches, ease of recovery, or compatibility with product software? Great job, guys. Probably isn't compatible with product software, but ultimately the lack of patches. What info helps an analyst assess a new vulnerabilities risk? Complete inventory of all hardware and software, documentation of the system classifications, third-party risk assessment reports, or a list of system owners and their departments. You want to have a full picture of what the extent of that vulnerability is within your organization. What factor most affects an administrator's ability to remediate known vulnerabilities, CVs, on a server? Organizational impact, rescanning requirements, risk tolerance, or patch availability? It's a tough one. 20 seconds left. That one was tough. Risk tolerance was a good answer, and organizational impact is determined by the availability of the patch. What is a predefined window for a system changes to minimize downtime? Backup plan, impact analysis, change management boards, or scheduled downtime? Excellent, guys. You guys are all doing great. So the scores. We're all pretty close to each other. How can a company protect sensitive data at rest from unauthorized access? Tokenization, hashing, segmentation, or encryption. It's a doozy here. Hey, Samuel. We're a little over a third of the way into it, but you can join in if you'd like. Here's the link.
Yeah,
and
sure.
code. Obviously, you'll be down in points since you missed the first 38 questions, but it'll still be good practice. Remember, hashing doesn't protect any changes. It just tells us if the data has been changing. And segmentation just blocks off a portion of the network. Encryption. Are you in, Samuel, or do you want me to wait a second?
No, you can continue. No, you don't need to wait for me. You can continue.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. The device is no longer updated or patched. What life cycle stage is this? End of support, end of testing, end of life, or end of business? Excellent, guys. Watch out, Daniel. Rookie's right behind you. Sally's catching up to you too, Gary. Users can't access websites. DNS shows low CPU memory but heavy inbound traffic. What's happening? On-path resource consumption, reflected denial of service, secure DNS cryptographic downgrade, or concurrent SSID usage. SSID usage. Excellent, guys. Keep it up. How can an admin restrict access by roles by simplifying permissions for a recovery resource group? Role-based access controls, access control list, group policy objective, or security assertion markup language. Excellent, guys. A tester scans ports and services within the rules of engagement. What type of reconnaissance is this? Defensive, passive, offensive, or active? Great job, guys. Just remember, actively scanning network ports is active con. What tool centralizes logs for alerting and monitoring? Data loss prevention, intrusion detection system, security information event management, or simple network management protocol? Awesome, guys. Catching up to each other. Which combination achieves MFA with something you know, have, and are? VPN IP address plus company ID plus facial structure, password plus security token plus fingerprint, company URL plus TLS certificate plus home address, or password plus VPN plus username. Something you know, have, and are. Great job, guys. It can be a lot to take in when you're just looking at a bunch of stuff like that. Which vulnerability lets attackers overwrite memory to redirect execution? SQL injection, race condition, buffer overflow, or VM escape? Good job, guys. Just remember, redirect, overwriting memory, buffer overflow. After a breach, attorneys request a legal hold. What must the security team do? Retain communications among security team members during the breach. Retain emails the security team and affected customers for 30 days. Retain all emails to the affected customer indefinitely. Retain any communications related to breach until further notice. Great job, guys. That one's a tough one. But the 4 is a lot broader and relates specifically to the breach. What is the purpose of hiding code or text with process of hiding code or text within a graphic image so as not easily detected? Hashing, steganography, data masking, or asymmetric encryption? Great job, guys. I can see why data masking would be an attractive answer. Steganography is hiding stuff within images. An employee gets a text from someone pretending to be the CEO asking them for gift cards. What type of attack is this? Smishing, vishing, phishing, or whaling? Excellent, guys. Critical Legacy app lacks some controls. What strategy should we use first? Transference, acceptance, avoidance, or mitigation? Excellent, guys. You're doing great. So be proud of yourself. Which document is required to ensure an organization can properly manage system restoration after a failure? Incident response plan, recovery point objective, disaster recovery plan, or systems development lifecycle? Great job, guys. Incident response is for like a breach or something. Recovery point objective is where you want to be able to recover to. Which document defines scope and expectations for a third-party penetration test? Rules of engagement, supply chain analysis, due diligence, or a right to audit clause? Excellent, guys. Which control is most effective at preventing an insider from physically accessing an on-site data center? Bollards, motion sensors, access badge, or video surveillance? Great job, guys. Bollards are just the things outside in front of a building to prevent a car from driving in. And video cameras would be a good preventive, but surveillance, not quite. What should a company focus on to protect backups from a single disaster? Geographic dispersion, platform diversity, load balancing, or hot site? Good job, guys. Hot site would be geographically dispersed, and load balancing is just managing the network load. Access changed when an engineer switched teams, but groups weren't updated. Which control caused this? Discretionary access control, mandatory access control, attribute-based access control, or role-based access control. Remember, he's switching teams, so it's based on his role. Attribute-based would be where you're located or something like that. Ooh, Sally's catching up. Here guys. The visitor plugs into a network jack and gets access. Which control prevents this? Virtual private network, transport layer security, network access control, or firewall. Great job, guys. You're using the network access block in theirs. So. Deploying a load balancer mainly supports which security principle? Confidentiality, availability, non-repudiation, or integrity? Great job. Remember, the load balancer is to help keep the strain off of individual networks and systems. So just supporting availability by making sure there's as little downtime as possible. How can an admin quickly update password policy across all systems? Enabling password authentication protocol, pushing a group policy update, updating endpoint detection and response profiles, or deploying PowerShell scripts. Yeah, that was a tough one. It's all about that group policy. You guys are doing awesome. Which metric compares risk transfer cost to potential impact? Annual loss expectancy, single loss expectancy, recovery time objective, recovery point objective. 10 seconds. It's a tough one. It can be easy to get mixed up. We haven't gotten to this point yet either in a study group here, so. Adding a random string before hashing a password is called what? Hashing, encryption, salting, or key stretching? Awesome, guys. Encryption just renders it unreadable. Hashing makes it so we can check for integrity. You'll hear the term salted hashes a lot as you progress. Before deploying a new security camera, what is the first step a technician should take? Perform a vulnerability scan, disable unnecessary ports, conduct a site survey, or configure the correct VLAN. Excellent. Yeah, you want to make sure you're conducting a site survey so you can make sure you're putting it in the appropriate place for the maximum impact. Web services are online but unreachable due to traffic surge. What attacks this? Brute force, arc poisoning, buffer overflow, or DDoS? Excellent, guys. Installing software outside of approved repositories causes which vulnerability? Sideload and jailbreaking, resource reuse, or memory injection? Excellent, guys. We're 2/3 done. We're getting close to the end. We're good on time. You guys are doing awesome. What do firewalls and sibling services on legacy systems represent? Risk transfer to a third party, compensating security controls, network segmentation, or an exception. Awesome, guys. Yeah, you're compensating for the fact that it's a legacy system. Not getting patches or anything like that anymore. The department uses unauthorized cloud tools. What security concern is this? Malware, insider threat, phishing, or shadow IT? It's a tricky one. Shadow IT. It's IT that is not known to the company. Which threat actor is most likely motivated primarily by revenge? Activist, insider threat, shadow IT, or organized crime? Excellent. I can see why you would think organized crime would be, but insider threat, think disgruntled employee. The tester uses an access badge to enter a restricted area. What type of test is this? Defensive, passive, physical, or offensive? It's a tough one, but the key here is that they're using an access badge to enter a restricted area, so it's a physical pen test. The message is encrypted and decrypted using corresponding keys. What type of encryption is this? Hashing, symmetric, salting, or asymmetric? Sorry guys, excuse me 1 second while you answer this. Sorry about that. All right. Yeah, symmetric uses 1 key. Asymmetric uses 2 key. Hashing is an irreversible way to determine the integrity of a file. Security admin is reissuing a former employee's laptop. What process ensures no sensitive data remains? Enumeration, sanitization, data retention, or destruction? Excellent, guys. Showing ID and entering through a controlled vestibule is what type of control? Technical, physical, operational, or managerial? Excellent, guys. You guys are doing awesome. Your last handful, 20 questions. Before deploying a change, what document shows the system can be restored if problems occur? Impact analysis, service level agreement, approval procedure, or backup plan? Great job, guys. Yeah, the backup plan is the one. You can back up, you can restore things if needed, things like that. How can a company reduce physical servers while keeping its infrastructure? Virtualization, serverless infrastructure, microservices, or segmentation? Good job, guys. Yep, virtualization through like virtual machines, things like that. Excellent work. Okay, I don't know if you saw my answer, Danielle. I'd love to do some PBQ practice. I'll get some resources so we can practice that. You know, at least one person that had some that they were recommending. Which control ensures customer PAI on a server isn't modified without authorization? File integrity monitoring, multi-factor authentication, data at rest encryption, data loss prevention. No idea why those are bold. Four, three, two, one. Last second Hail Mary. Remember, when you're ensuring something isn't modified, you're checking the integrity. Encryption just hides it. It doesn't help with the integrity. And data loss just tells us if data was leaked. Users can't access a retail website flagged as gambling. What action will allow access? Allow access. Configuring the IPS to allow shopping, updating the content filter to correct the site category, tuning the DLP for rule for credit card data, creating firewall rule to allow HTTPS traffic. 5 seconds. Excellent. Yep, there's just a retail site flagged incorrectly as gambling, so you want to update the content filter. We don't know for sure yet if it's HTTPS or not. Allowed show one password tried multiple times on multiple accounts. What attack is this? Brute force past the hash, password spraying, or account forgery? That's a tricky one. Brute force and password spraying are like two sides of the same coin. One of them is trying one password on a bunch of accounts. The other one is trying a bunch of passwords on one account. Spraying being the one password on multiple accounts to avoid lockouts. Company uses a VPN to securely connect its main office to a remote branch. What is the VPN primarily protecting? Data in transit, at rest, geographical restrictions, or data in use? Five seconds left. Excellent. I can see why data in use would be an attractive answer, but it's the data going to and from because the VPN is like a virtual tunnel. How can a third party securely transfer files between internal networks with encrypted traffic? Extensible authentication protocol, software-defined wide area network, internet protocol security, datagram transport layer security. Good job, guys. The reason we don't go with this is because we don't know if it's UDP or TCP. The recruiter exfiltrates data over HTTP on port 53. What device could detect and block this? Next generation firewall with application inspection, web application firewall using SSL decryption, SD-WAN using IPsec, unified threat management using a thread feed. Great job, guys. The reason we don't need this one is because it's over HTTP, so it's not encrypted. Understanding the different firewalls can be confusing, but is important. And admin fingerprints files, so emailing them externally triggers an alert. What tool is this? Secure configuration assessment program, intrusion prevention system, simple network management protocol traps, or data loss prevention. Got an even split there. Emailing them externally, meaning we're losing them, they're going out of our system, so data loss prevention. Developer posts an app file online. What lets users verify the integrity? Certificates, algorithms, hashing, or salting? Yeah, remember we use hashes to check the integrity of files. We can use them to check virus total and stuff like that to see the malicious files and what they are. Hashing is something you will be using a lot. Workstations and servers show messages tied to RYK files. What type of malware is this? Worm, ransomware, spyware, or Trojan? It's a tough one. Keep in mind it's showing us messages that are tied to these files. Big messages on the screen usually means ransomware. We're on our last 10 questions, guys. Web server stops responding as firewall logs show a traffic surge. What attacks likely? Cross-site scripting, SQL injection, man in the middle, or DDoS? So guys, just remember a web server being offline like this is usually a DDoS. Which metric measures how long it takes to fix a hardware issue on a server? Mean time to repair recovery time objective, recovery point objective, mean time between failures. Guys, every time objective is a good guess, but that's just estimating how long it should be, how long you'd like it to be. But mean time to repair is how long it should take. An analyst is assessing zero trust principles within the data plane. Which factor is most relevant to evaluate? Adaptive identities, secured zones, threat scope reduction, or subject role? It's a tough one, but you want to trust nobody in the secure zones. Good job, guys. We're almost done. Security engineer wants an IPS to block signature-based attacks. Which mode actively stops attacks? Inline, monitor, audit, or sensor? Good job, guys. Inline also means active. Something good to know. Last handful of questions, guys. What solution protects computers from malware and prevents lateral movement? Access control list, endpoint detection and response, network access control, or intrusion detection system? Excellent, guys. Remember, ADS just detects. It doesn't prevent anything. New employees onboarding email has links that don't match company URLs. What attack is this? Unsecured network, business email compromise, SQL injection, or phishing? Awesome, guys. And where do you guys go? Which document defines the services a company provides and delivery expectations? Service level agreement, memorandum of understanding, interconnection security agreement, non-disclosure agreement. Great job, guys. This is one we haven't gone over in our study group, so we'll go over that one soon. GRC is honestly the part I struggle with the most. Last three. Hurricane-prone company wants a disaster recovery site for immediate operations. Which site is best? Warm site, hot site, tertiary site, cold site. Great job, guys. Remember, hot site is because it's hot, it's ready to go. Got two more. Let's make them count, guys. Researching industry-specific laws and regulations for security is which practice? Attestation, GDPR, due diligence, or risk assessment? Another tough one. You want to do your due diligence and do your research on the laws and regulations. GDPR is one of those regulations. Positive off the top of my head for attestation. And last but not least, an engineer wants to prevent unauthorized access to internal resources. Which solution is best? Proxy server, antivirus, hypervisor, or jump server? Good job, guys. Just remember that a jump server is used to funnel traffic into a network. And let's see that podium.
Great job, guys.
Yeah, guys, great job. I know it can be a lot to take in. Really.
Just
So,
a question: does any of this actually relate to passing or failing the exam?
what do you mean? Does it relate to passing or failing? Like, is
Um,
it will be on the exam?
Yeah, because it was 90 questions, 1 minute each. So I was just curious if there was like a correlation to like a pass or fail for the actual exam.
So the exam itself is give or take 90 questions.
Okay.
It depends. Every test is different. There's the PBQs, and I don't remember the exact number. I think it's like 3 to 5 for those that everyone gets. So sometimes you'll get a little less than 90 questions, sometimes a little more. So generally speaking, you're shooting for about a minute per question.
Well, PBQs are usually about 3 to 5
Yeah.
on a Security Plus.
Yep, 3 to 5 of them on a Security Plus. Generally about 90 questions total, give or take a couple. And
90 questions, 90 minutes.
yep. And then I mean there's some that I couldn't do because I can't do extra answers and picking multiple on Kahoot without paying for a full subscription. But there are, to my knowledge, questions that have like 5 or 6 answers to choose from, and some where you have to pick 2. I wanted to do this, but like I said, I couldn't do it on the Kahoot.
Yeah.
But I can say that this practice exam was based on practice exam questions I was finding online and stuff like that. So it's
Okay.
pretty accurate to what you'll be expecting.
I thought
The
these were really
questions
good
that
questions, though.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, they were good. A little tricky. Some of
I
They're
had
very
to,
tricky.
I noticed
well,
that a
that's
lot of the definitions are not industry usage definitions, but by the book. I think I have to approach this differently.
yeah, it's tricky because there's going to be a lot of questions on Security Plus where you answer it and you're like, that was a trick question.
Yeah.
They have a lot where it's the biggest tip that I can give you is really read the question carefully because they're testing for your attention to detail. They're testing to make sure that you see that one word that changes the answer,
That's it.
because that's what it's like in the real world, is one small detail can really change the whole situation. So,
Yep.
and I mean, for this, like I have a word limit too, so I had to shorten a lot of the questions. They have longer scenario based questions and stuff. So, but you guys all did a great job, especially you guys who are still not quite, because I know Danielle and Tywin are both taking it soon, so you guys are a lot closer to being ready.
Yeah, I'm
But
not ready.
you guys did great. It was
I'm getting there.
a lot. You guys did awesome, so you should definitely be proud of yourself. These are great scores, and I mean, I did the practice exam as I was making this yesterday, and
Mhm.
I think I got like 10 wrong or something like that. So I mean, it's a lot to take in, and I mean, just like everyone has their subject that they do better in and subject that they do worse in. Like I said earlier, for me, the GRC stuff is really where I'm just like, it doesn't really click as much for me. But then give me attacks and malware and all of that, and I can answer all the questions. But you guys did great. I'll post this recording if you guys want the link so you can retake the test yourselves, or if you want the other exam or any of my other Kahoots that I've made. I'm pretty sure Sally and Danielle, I've given you both
Yeah, I'll
Yes.
definitely take
the
the link for
links
this.
there.
Yeah.
Just like I said, my biggest advice is just really make sure you read the questions.
Right.
I mean, all in all, should tell us. Thought it would tell us how long it took. Um, but yeah, you guys did a great job. If you have any questions, just reach out. I'll see how much of the summary I can give without giving everybody else's information away, just because. But if not, I'll happily give the Kahoot out to anybody who wants it, or if you guys have any questions, just let me know. Thank you all
For
so
sure.
much for coming and participating.
Yeah,
Just type
thank
the
you.
recording.